What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Heck versus Hell, where the truth we tell, always dropping knowledge in a bombshell. We might have to change it up to that one. I kind of like that. But welcome back, everybody. We see you constantly tuning in. I appreciate all the love and support from all the past videos. I saw the reaction we got on the hidden episode that we just recently dropped. I know I've been teasing it, but give me some more feedback. Tell me what y'all thought about that, and if you've ever experienced anything even similar to what I spoke about when it came to the whole UFO situation. You know, there's going to be people that don't believe you, absolutely, but those are people that don't want to explore outside of the reality that they live in. So I'm here, open ears. Hector Rivera, you already know who it is. Welcome back once again. And I want to give you a quick episode today and just ask you a question. What is the meaning of life? In your perspective, in your opinion, what do you see the meaning of life to be? Because if we go and try to analyze and weigh in every single scenario, every situation that we can, we understand that regardless, everybody, no matter if you're good, bad, right, wrong, you live in turmoil each and every day, or you live in joy and bliss, or you live in your own reality, every single day we're all going to end up back from where we came. Dirt, earth. We are made up of earthly components. We are made up of the chemicals that bind us to this world, right? And if you look at it like that, let's say, for example, you don't have any opinion, any real grasp of what you believe in when it comes to what happens after death. What is it all for, in your opinion, right? And I want you to really ponder that and ask yourself that. Because I know a lot of you listening to this right now are going and you're constantly in turmoil. And I completely understand that that's a part of everybody's life. There's always going to be problems, without a doubt. But is it really a problem? There was this one story I heard where it was, I think, an Asian farmer, if I'm not mistaken, that he basically had a farm. He had his son working with him, and there was a war that was going to brew. And what had happened is he had a lot of horses just out of nowhere come, and they went and basically shacked up in his farm. They basically decided, hey, this is my new home. And everybody in the town was like, hey, that's awesome. That's a great thing. And the farmer said, yeah, maybe. We'll see. And where it went from there was the war ended up brewing up, and everybody came to the point where they were just recruiting everybody in the village. Everybody that was capable, every man up to the age, after the age of 16 was recruited. And the farmer's son, he was 18, going on 19. And they were recruiting everyone. And what would happen was he broke his leg, and whenever he broke his leg, everybody was thinking, oh, that's really good. That's awesome that happened. And he was like, well, maybe. And everybody that went into that war, unfortunately, they passed. They had lost a horrible death, and it was just a brutal battle. And what happened from there was, it was just constantly, maybe, every situation that's transpired, he would see a maybe. And that was a horribly told story. I can't telephone that directly to you in the best way I can, because I know I already messed it up in some way or another. But the moral of the story was, really, we don't understand what is good or bad until after the fact. until after the storm has passed. We don't understand why certain situations transpired the way they did, nor do we appreciate things that may have happened for good, right? So, for example, on that situation, his son broke his leg. They could have been thinking, "Oh, that's horrible," that he broke his leg. And then the next day, they recruited everyone for war, and they was like, "Oh, that's great," he broke his leg, and they recruited everyone for war. Same thing, maybe. So we don't really understand it, but whenever we have to go and throughout every situation, we always have to live in the present. We have to see where we're at right now, because we're always looking at the past. And if we see a situation where we're thinking, "Oh, this is a horrible situation, I can't believe this is happening to me," you let what truly matters just pass you by. Because say for example, in that situation, I've seen, and you've probably seen too, in a bunch of movies where people get shot at, and they have a bullet wound, and they're spending their time, getting fixed up by their loved one, and that right there is a memory that they enjoy. And when it comes to it, at the end of the day, those are the real memories that you're going to value. And if you believe in the biblical standpoint of going to heaven, whenever we leave this earth, we will have no memory of anything bad that happened on this earth. Only the good memories will stay. And I'm wondering, how many good memories do you have? Because if you've constantly looked at every situation with a bad perspective and always like, "Oh man, I'm in this situation now. It's gone to poop. I'm here now. There's a load of bologna sandwich." And you're just always looking at everything in that lens. Well, in your perspective, everything may be a bad memory. So what will you have to look back on that you can look and enjoy, that you can look and smile or be proud of? And not saying, "Oh, you have to have such an accomplishment," but no, even little things. Little situations can be an accomplishment. With myself personally, I had the same perspective where I saw basically my whole life as just horrible up until a certain point. And really, even if I try to think about stories from the past, I always hear people with amazing stories and talking about stories in the past. I feel like, hey, I don't have stories. And it was from that perspective, because I didn't allow myself to enjoy the moment and make those memories that were intended to be had, because I was constantly living in my head. I was constantly living with that lens on of everything is black and white. I didn't get to take off the glasses and enjoy the present moment and say, "Hey, this is awesome." Even if it was just a little moment of wrestling with my older brother on the trampoline and almost breaking his arm, that it's a lot of little moments that we just constantly pass by that we don't get to appreciate. And there's even times where, and this is really, really beneficial too, and it'll be a part of entanglements whenever you're in uh, soul ties and entanglements, what we're going to roll out here soon, very shortly. But you have to learn to, even in the storm, have that optimistic mindset. Doesn't matter how bad the situation it is or looks, it doesn't matter. You have to understand that nothing happens to you. Everything is always beautiful in its own way, and we may not see it, and we definitely may not appreciate it, but we have to understand that it's a part of the process. It's really important that we go through those certain events, and maybe later, when you look back at that horrible situation that you went through, you're going to appreciate it and say, "Man, because of that, I'm right here." And your perspective changes on it. But imagine if you had that lens looking for those little moments every single day, how much better your life is going to be because of the lens that you put on. What state of gratitude and joy and fulfillment you're going to have every single day, just because you're looking for those little moments to enjoy. And that was actually something that I had to do myself. Just enjoy those little moments and stop living in, because I began living in the future. Just, hey, I always gotta be right here. I always gotta be 4 steps ahead, 7 steps ahead. I gotta focus on what my next footsteps are, and I don't get to look up and smell the flowers. See, a lot of people are always looking down at their phones, always looking to try to compare themselves to other people. So a lot of people are really doing the same thing. You're either living in the future or the past. It's really, really difficult to live in the present, because that's where consciousness is, what's going on in this very moment. That's where you're able to make those memories. Because if you just live in those situations, a lot of the times life is just going to happen to you. You're not going to be able to see it and be the writer of your biography, of your autobiography. You're not going to be able to say, oh yeah, this happened to me, I was able to overcome this. You're going to be like, man, I was just going and I was so focused trying to reach this goal, and this just hit me and it was horrible. And those are two completely different perspectives. And the only difference was the attitude and the focus.
Please listen to this special announcement. For the past few months, our DDC and Flip the Switch have been working on something amazing for your spiritual, mental, and emotional growth that can be brought into your physical worlds. And that is the FDS Think and Grow Rich Execution Style Masterclass, which doors are now open. Not only will you gain the clarity, insight, and blueprint form of what you need, along with the enlightenment you've been waiting for, but we are also rewarding you beyond your wildest dreams. That is definitely right. Rewarding you for not only taking the first step into creating a new life and new vision for yourselves and those connected to you, but also rewarding you with an excursion to live out your new hopes and dreams, to rewrite the chapters from your newfound level of life, all while relaxing and enjoying the moment where someone actually spoils you for you taking the initiative to change the game upon your own journey. So, if you want to find out more, we'll have a link provided on all our broadcast channels, as well as our blog spot and www.realdoubledosechannel.com, so you can get all the insights on how to sign up and get started today. And if you're a business influencer, entrepreneur, or anything under the sun that serves others, you might also want to check this out as well. So you can offer these special packages to give to your clients, friends, customers, students, and loved ones. We'll see you on the flip side. And now back to your favorite show with the RDDC's Double Dose wonderful broadcast channel.
Where they were focused on at that moment. So that's what we really need to change together as a whole. Not just you listening to this right now, but everyone you talk to, everyone you come across, help them appreciate the moment. Because I see Lex talk to so many people, and she just brings incredible joy. She makes people feel like children the way she speaks to people, and she has a gift, a truly given by God, where she just goes and snaps people into the present, and she just allows them to have an imagination and empowers them in such a phenomenal way, where they just go and they're lighting, they're lit up. She is so bright in how she speaks, in what she does, that she just can't help but to turn on somebody else's light. And it is just phenomenal the way. So if one of you were to ever have a conversation with her, I'd tell you, be there, be in the present, listen to everything she says, because it's just amazing. And she's had a lot of people where she just makes them want to feel like, hey, I want better. I want to quit my job right now and pursue that better. And that's not saying, hey, just quit, no plan, just full speed ahead. But it's, it's just helping people find their purpose in the right way, and just being in that present and being able to enjoy what is going on right now. Because even those conversations there, just looking at them from a third person perspective, is just, I get to enjoy it because I get to see the memories that are being made. I get to see the imprint that she's leaving on other people, and it's just amazing, phenomenal the way it plays out. So I challenge all of you to go and try to do the same. Snap people into the present. Let them enjoy where you're at right now, and let them be conscious of what is going on right now. Let them be here with you to enjoy what is going on. You know, even if you have to stop someone in the middle of the street, you know, pull someone over and just, hey, let's stop right here. I see some flowers. Just run out like a kid. Go get those flowers and try to urge them to run out. Just do something that's out of the ordinary that people would frown upon, because as Kanye put it, we're all trapped in a reality of coffee tables. Of this is not socially accepted, so you shouldn't do it. Get off that coffee table, right? So we're constantly trapped in our own matrix of what society has put on what we can't do, and what we should and shouldn't do. You know, that's why whenever people go and they're just spontaneously over here singing in the middle of a restaurant, people always looking. People always pull out their phones and record, because it's out of the ordinary. And the confidence to do that, the knowing of not caring, you know, the wanting to truly be yourself, it's a light that shines through, and it impacts other people. So that's my challenge to you. Be the change. Like Alex always says, right? Be the change. Feel the passion and embrace the power of the spirit within, because that's truly and ultimately where the light always comes from. So you already know where I'm going with this. Like always, I love each and every one of you, and we'll catch you on the flip side.